Hello and welcome to Modern Toy Fair. Today we're going to discuss if collecting sucks. I'm your host, Mr. Modern Toy Fair, and I am joined by the founder of the Neca Illuminati, the delayer of shipments, the procrastinator of pre-orders, my YouTube wife, Mrs. Modern Toy Fair, Jarmar_games. That's not all. I am also joined by the man Modern Toy Fair has full custody over. The man Optimus Prime popped and he refuses to stop. The Twilight Knight, the master of mech, the three-pump chump of taking the show off the rails. Nate.
What's up?
How you guys doing?
Hey, I'm doing good. I feel a little unsafe.
Well,
I
unsafe?
apologize ahead of time because I think it's me. I'm pretty sure it's my...
You're the problem?
Yeah,
Huh.
I'm concerned about that. We have a family in this home and a smoke detector is not a good thing to not be working. So,
Well, it probably just needs the batteries changed, you know?
Yeah,
The
no,
thing
yeah,
that you do every now and then with those.
That's a lot of work. So if whoever can reach the end of this episode and let me know how many times it chirped, you win a prize.
Please don't click away because of knowing that's going to happen. Like it's his fault, not ours. We didn't do anything.
We have a legit
Wait, why would
prize.
they click away? You got to watch the whole episode to count them all.
Yeah, but some people probably find that annoying. So, anyway, so today we're gonna be discussing the fact that like with most things in life, there is burnout that can be caused by a number of things, and collecting is not safe from said burnout. And sometimes it's just simply, you get tired of it, and sometimes it's, caused by companies and like drama, and sometimes it's caused by, expenses. It really just kind of depends on the situation. Mostly recently, at least for me, it kind of feels like it's coming from some of these companies. One, because so much for the past few months has just been pumped out to the point where you feel like you're drowning because every 5 minutes a new pre-order comes up, or a company drops a bunch of exclusives at Target all at once, or fucking random shit just starts showing up that wasn't supposed to show up for another 3 months. And in this case, for me, it's more so feeling like we're taking a step backwards. Like for the longest time, we had started to improve during the pandemic with distribution and mild communication to the point where like the stress of the hunt had kind of calmed down. And it also kind of calmed down because things were more readily available, so there were less scalpers going around buying things up to sell them. And recently it feels like that's starting to go away and we're going back to the old ways. Just because Hasbro like ships some stuff here and there, but not to everybody. And even then they don't do it to their own customers, which has been a problem for a while, but this seems like to happen more and more. Like local places still haven't gotten the new X-Men retro wave, but like Big Bad Toy Store and Amazon have had it for over a month. NECA just had the Haulathon, and that stuff, one, went out early, and two, wasn't like super plentiful, where they had...
Or didn't go out at all?
Yeah, for some stores didn't go out at all, or at least because it's that third-party rep that comes in to stock it, didn't get stocked. And it feels like we're getting back to that like FOMO panic style of collecting that made us all miserable back pre-pandemic in like 2019, like right before things like really took off. And it really kind of turns me off to buying some of these lines. Like with NECA, the accessory set, I was super excited for it, and it's been such a shit show finding it that I'm just like, if I don't find it, I'm probably going to be uninterested in the dio that they're doing, the sewer diorama, because I was super excited about that, but I'd be spending probably $600 on that by the time you get like all three pieces of it. And if I can't have the stuff that should go in it, then it kind of defeats the purpose. Like it's going to feel empty. And I don't know about you guys, like if you guys are feeling fatigued at all for any reason, or if you feel the same way about the shit show with distribution that's starting to kind of come back.
Oh, this is a good one because we kind of like sort of broached this topic. Is that the correct term? Broached?
Oh, you're asking.
Broached? Whatever.
You think this is a
We
literary
sorta, like,
podcast?
we lightly talked about this before with like the Hasbro. Did like Hasbro ruin like toy collecting? And the answer is yes.
Yeah,
But
always yes.
I think this is definitely beyond Hasbro in a sense that, like, for those reasons you mentioned, the still lack of communication from the companies. Could be that they don't know. I don't know. But like shit just releasing, in my case, the Haulathon shit. Luckily a lot of it I wasn't like I have to absolutely have. But it is kind of disheartening and no longer fun when I'm back to, oh shit, if I'm not there the moment this shit gets put out, I'm not gonna get it. And I understand that's how collecting has been, but I think we should be better than
We were.
this.
It was to a
Yeah,
point
and
where
that's
it was
true. We
getting
did
better.
get to a point.
It was to a point where like things were readily available.
Yeah. Could it have been though that it was things that weren't like as popular? I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. But I would say I'm not like so much beat up of it or fatigued. I guess I'm just more so used to it. Coming in from a perspective, like my collecting habits were over time some years back, but started really getting into the motion more recently with kind of the explosion of NECA and the tune line and whatnot. So I've kind of feel like I've been feeling this way since I have really, really gotten more focused on collecting. So I should be more fatigued, but I'm just kind of like, yeah, this is actually what it's supposed to be like. Like that little silver glimpse, that silver lining that we had for a hot moment. I just thought that was more of an oddity versus like actually being where we're going. So I don't know. I'm not fatigued. I just feel like, of course, this is what's gonna happen.
Maybe a
I
little
expect
disheartened.
it. Yeah, I just expect it now. Yeah, it's like I'm not mad. I'm disappointed.
Hitting him with the dad mode. Damn.
Yeah.
How about you, Nate?
Yeah, I am absolutely burnout, but it's not for any of the reasons that you guys talked about. In fact, I've actually like totally flipped a switch mentally, and I don't care. Like if stuff comes out, cool, great, I can get it, awesome. If I can't, okay. I've also seen over the last couple of years that nothing is ungettable, nothing is unattainable. It always ends up somehow falling into your lap, or a situation presents itself again. And I do talk about like the NECA tune line specifically when, you know, some of those were so, oh, we're gonna have to edit this out. Sorry, I got a beeping in my house and I know what it is.
Uh-oh.
Not a fan.
Okay, but I don't feel like anything is unattainable anymore, and I just feel like a little bit of patience. You know, I look at the NECA tune line and how they would offer those that as pre-orders. All those ones that were really difficult to get, they eventually offered them as timed pre-orders. You know, any of the figures that were difficult to find ended up, you know, maybe it took up to 6 months, but the next thing you know, there was a pile of them. You know, there was always something. I felt bad for you guys. You guys wanted the accessory set. I tried a couple of stores. I was actually at a store as the stuff was coming out, and no accessory set. That was like the only thing I was really interested in. But I have no doubt somewhere along the line, I'll find it. And if I don't, then I guess it wasn't meant to be. But at the same time, I have like both movie accessory sets still in the box because I haven't done anything with them yet. So, you know, part of me is also like, okay. And that's where like the burnout starts to come in, especially I think over the period of the pandemic. Things were different financially for a lot of people, myself included. Like I was actually making more during that time than, you know, previously. I was then, you know, buying a bunch more things that I probably shouldn't have. And then it all became about, you know, getting the next big thing. And I never got a chance to really enjoy what I had. And it really wasn't until I had a financial change where I had to get rid of some stuff. And, you know, it kind of put things in a lot of perspective. And it made me rethink things, and it made me rethink my total collecting. And the hilarious part is all of this happens about a month after my toy therapy episode. So all of that is not lies, but none of it is true anymore, which is hilarious. But I do I can see where a lot of collectors are getting frustrated and overwhelmed, and I am too at certain things. And, I'll pick on Hasbro first because they're my favorite company to pick on, and they're my favorite company because they're the stuff I buy the most of. But the constant repacks, the constant repaints, the terrible character selection in things like Star Wars, the Black Series, which made me jump off Black Series totally and go more into the vintage collection. That's a whole realm of another conversation that we can have that I won't get into right now. But that definitely took a lot off my plate and kind of freed me up and made me think, maybe I don't need that. My change in Marvel Legends also did that. The fact that I pretty much only buy Marvel Legends on clearance now also adds to the fun of collecting again. I talked about that on our budget episode, which you can watch by clicking right here. Because this thing is supposed to be a hobby. It's supposed to be fun. And that's where we got to really take a step back, because I've been in those situations where you get super frustrated, whether it be a store exclusive that's supposed to go out at a certain time, or it's a store exclusive that's supposed to go up on a website at a certain time, and it either doesn't or it sells out because of bots. And I remember just being so upset and so worked up about the initial G.I. Joe Classified Target exclusives. And I overpaid for some of them. And I eventually saw the opportunity where I could have got every single one of those at retail. And you start to learn. And you gotta step back and really evaluate what it is you're doing and why you're doing it. Because the minute you're getting mad, it's not fun, it's not a hobby, and it's just not worth it. And now with increasing costs and things like that, it's so easy to get burnout. And I'm talking in circles, so one of you can jump in.
I was just gonna step in and say that that it sounds like a very beautiful message, but it's assuming that we all have self accountability. And we don't, because I'm a big kid and I don't want to wait for something that I'm told is going to be available at this specific time. And I know what you mean. NECA did go back and re-release a lot of things. And I feel like that should be a balanced approach for the person who didn't even know that existed, more of a casual collector or something like that. And I give the example of the Nendoroids that I've been getting. It's because they re-released all these things that I missed because I was just kind of casually interested or didn't even know the line existed. So I feel like that's a perfect balance for those pre-orders, but it's still execution on the company's behalf that would relieve a lot of this frustration. Maybe not some of the things like you said, like character selections and constant repaints and maybe even QC issues. But again, those really are kind of easy things that a company should be able to correct at this point in the game. And I'm going to use NECA because that's just the best example I have. I feel like they're much too large for you guys. I don't know. Is this still, was it 2 weeks ago at this point that you talked about the turtles, or I missed that episode?
It would have been 2 weeks ago at this point. Yeah.
Okay. So 2 weeks ago, you guys had the episode about NECA kind of making almost all the lines, and do we need this when NECA's doing this and blah 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 blah. There's a lot of overlap. NECA basically has pretty much the turtle license cornered. So for a lot of people, that's the main option. So when it becomes frustrating when you get excited about these things and they constantly not even constantly. Well, they were consistently shitting the bed. Then they kind of got better, and now they're back to shitting the bed. And it goes back to communication. Even if it was just a blog post or a Twitter post or something, I was like, hey guys, sorry, Haulathon kind of kicked off. I'm glad you guys are excited, maybe more excited than what we thought. Just some kind of communication is the only thing that you really need to kind of help the fatigue or the anger, you know what I mean? But yeah, it is on us. We should be patient. But in some cases, this is a hobby, but it's also a very impulse hobby as well. So things are exciting, so you want to get them when you get that excitement. So then
please don't misunderstand me saying to chill out as that I've never done it, because again, I want to reiterate.
No, I know that. I know. You're in the Discord. We're talking about it. We're talking about it. I just want to stand up for people against the corporate overlords. And if I could reach my NECA Illuminati hat, I would, because that is the whole reason this existed, because of this fact of like, why are you making this hype? Are you enjoying this frustration from the fans who are dedicated enough to go to Target every day to buy a product that you create? You should want to like reward those fans and like make it more enjoyable for them. You know,
Absolutely. But I would challenge that. I'm challenging that thought. You know, how much of this is NECA and how much of this is Target dropping the ball?
well,
You know, because
I think it's 50-50 because you have to. Another thing that's a problem with it is the fact that NECA, just for the first week of a haulathon, dropped $700 worth of product. Middle of an economic fucking crisis where everyone is like struggling to get by, and they're like, here is literally everything we announced for the fucking past year in 1 week. Like that's unacceptable. Fucking that needed to be spread out across 4 weeks, not be just week one.
And I do agree. And I also though know that Haulathon, as it was before, was an initial release. Now, granted, the cartoon stuff is a Target exclusive and will probably remain a Target exclusive, but I do wonder if this is just a preview and more stuff, re-releases of those items will come down.
Well, the comic stuff is supposed to be for local shops and e-retailers.
But no, that's just my point, though. What you're saying,
yes, the communication is terrible.
There's been no talk,
but again, and I'm gonna. You hold on a second, or you hold on a second. Yes. Again, how much of this is NECA and how much of this is Target, in the sense that what kind of agreement do they have? So it's very easy to say, like we can with Loot Crate, NECA you shouldn't work with them, but you really only have Target or Walmart to work with. And I think Walmart is probably the worst. So you work with Target, you have to play within their parameters. And maybe they're not allowed, one, to necessarily announce the stuff or say when and if it is coming later, because Target wants that quote unquote, oh, you got a preview, exclusivity, or it's not a preview, you saw it last week. Some sort of exclusivity of that particular item. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm not trying to play like an apologist for NECA, but I am playing a devil's advocate in the sense that we all don't know what is the perimeters of the agreement.
Right. I agree. Like, a lot of this is gonna be dictated by Target because they're paying the buck for this. Usually they forward some money for the exclusives to help them get made. I briefly worked with Aaron Archer, who used to work for Hasbro, and he kind of explained like how exclusives worked for them. And it'd always be that the retailer would give them the money, and that would go towards production, so then they'd have less costs. And like, I get it. You have to play, with deal with the devil, but there's some responsibility you have to take as a company, because you're also going to lose business in the process. Because I'll tell you right now, I refuse. Starting with this current release, I've decided with NECA, I will not order online. If I don't find it in store, I don't need it. I'm done with it. I'm not gonna, because another thing that really I think has affected my collecting habits is I have to be more picky because of the channel. So with this channel, there's a lot of stuff that I normally might not have bought, but I think is cool and I think would do well as a review. Well, if 50% of that goes away, because
you sell things faster than Cincy Nerd does.
You don't need to call me out.
I think he was just, that was all he had to say.
Yeah, you don't need to call me out. Sorry, you paused dramatically, but yeah, you don't need to call me out. Well, damn. But no, like I'm saying, there's a lot of things that I would buy because like 50% is like, oh, that's really cool, but I don't necessarily need it. But then, oh, it could help the channel, so I'll get it anyway. Well, this is like a situation like that where like there's a lot of NECA stuff that I may not normally have just bought because I wanted it because I don't need it like some of my other like collections, but I'd get it because it'd do well for the channel, because unfortunately we don't have the following that people like Robo on the Foosh do, where he can come out with a review of a product a month after it came out and still get 20,000 views. So I have to make every step count with this, and
that's because I need one of those sweet hats.
Yeah, if you grew up the beard and had the sweet hat, I think we'd be doing better. It's all your fault.
Mhm.
Get a hat.
But yeah, so there's a lot of stuff where it will, like you said, I recycle my stuff because it's okay. It's not something I bought because I need it.
Yes,
It goes
please
away.
let me also. I'm not taking a shot at Cincy. I always look for his sponsored whatnots and such, and he does get rid of stuff fast,
Mhm.
but not as fast as you.
Again, didn't need to call me out.
No, I continually need to. It's fun. It's fun for me. That's why I'm smiling. It's
but-
a good time.
But yeah, so like that's another factor in it, and like this is a case with NECA. Like I think the accessory set is really cool. I think it would have been something that I feel probably should have just, like, at least some of the items should have just been in the diorama instead of being something that you need to complete the diorama down the line. But it's enough that if I don't find it in store, I'm not going to buy it 6 months from now when it randomly pops back up at Target and is warming shelves. Because at that point, I've already lost interest in it, and I'm probably going to be soured on buying their $600 plus diorama set. So they're in the process of doing all of these moves to make the most money. They're also inevitably going to lose money, and Target's going to just have shit set on the shelves, just like it usually does with this situation. Like, think about last Haulathon. They did this where some of the stuff was super hard to get, and then 6 months later it showed up, and at that point everyone had cooled off on it, and it just sat there.
Yeah, I literally saw last year Haulathon stuff today.
Yeah,
it's still.
I saw more last year Haulathon stuff than I have seen this year's Haulathon stuff.
So like the stuff is still available if you collect the Toon line and you're patient, you'll get it. But if you're casually collecting the Toon line, then it's a little more stressful because you may, like you said, you're going to lose interest once it's cooled off, or you may have already bought it somewhere else or what have you. So it's kind of on NECA too, to where, yeah, they have to play within Target's parameters, but they still could do better at getting the stuff to Target sooner rather than being 6 months later. Be like, hey, it's gonna hit Haulathon for this week, and then in April it'll start hitting the shelves regularly. Versus it being in July, it'll start hitting shelves regularly.
Yeah. Yeah, wrong. I don't understand why the Haulathon thing. This isn't like bash on NECA, because it's other things that have kind of, I don't know. I think I can't say that I'm fully fatigued in a sense. Like with NECA, I kind of am, but for other things that I'm into, like Nindoroids, I'm full in. Like I'm still following every time they have an event and every Twitter notification. I'm always kind of keeping an eye out for new pre-orders and stuff. But I think it's just the interaction that I have with Nindoroid is good smile. Anyways, it's, hey, this is coming out. We're working on it. This is how far we are with it right now. We'll give you more information a little bit later. Cool. Okay. And then the next time you hear about it, this is what it looks like fully together. This is what we're going to have. We'll give you more information. And then the next time is, hey, pre-order it. It'll be out in, 5 months or 4 months, whatever it may be. I kind of like that model, but obviously they don't have a retail presence. So
yeah,
I understand that. But it's these like events that are put on to kind of gain excitement that just really become like anger and frustration.
It just stresses you
and
out.
That's what really bothers me.
It doesn't make you excited for the product anymore.
Yeah. I'd rather just see a poster of all the things that are coming out and then be like, I have a poster on the wall. So
I was wondering, like, who puts up posters anymore?
But like, I'd rather just have like a poster with like the checklist and stuff. These are pretty cool because
no, I meant like at a store, like they don't have like posters of the product anymore.
But I
no,
just like to see that
they don't have good cross sell anymore either. Like it's all terrible.
I just would like to. I don't know. I harp on NECA a lot because they hurt me the most because of like how close I am to them. But like, it's just communication and stuff like that. It just like, fuck, I don't want to buy it. But then I know I'm gonna buy it because if I'm not the person who's gonna say nope, I don't want that, unless I really didn't want it from the beginning. But when I see it inevitably and I'm going through Target and I'm like, oh hey, that's that thing that I really wanted and I couldn't get, and now it's here. I'm like, all right, I'll just put it in the cart. But like, it won't be as exciting, for it. I don't know. That's weird. When you say,
we all experience that differently,
Yeah.
Like I said, buying certain things not right away or waiting. I've tried to put a little bit of fun back into it.
I will say, because that reminded me when you mentioned before how you like to get the Marvel Legends on clearance and whatnot.
Mhm.
I have shit luck with that, so I never find anything on clearance. That's just me. But also, that's the other thing that bugs me with like NECA is I believe you guys mentioned this 2 weeks ago in this episode. It's so weird. About like how we don't know who's making the prices or who even is responsible for the inventory, if it's the vendor or Target, but that shit never goes on sale. So even if it's 17 years later, that shit's just sitting there still for $49.99.
Yeah.
Like it's upsetting in that regard. So at least you kind of like it's a payoff. Like, oh, I didn't get it at the beginning, and I was patient. I found it cool. Maybe now it's 7 months later, I might get a discount. Nope, that shit's still the same. I passed on so many of those
Target
2-packs.
waits 7 months to clearance things out.
Well, no, I mean that's
Like
I'm just
7
saying
weeks
like
if
an
you're lucky.
example for like for NECA, but like you
watch last week's weekly purchases. I'll put the link right here.
But yeah, it's just it I don't know. It sucks in that regard. That I want to at least feel like I got a small victory because I was patient. But my patience paid off and I just have what I wanted 6 months ago. It's not fun.
But yeah, I agree. Like there are other lines that I still am passionate and excited for because I don't have to go through the struggle with it. Like MoffX, like they show me pretty pictures, they give me pre-orders show up, and watch what's
generally a year later though. Like
yeah, I mean it's usually 6 months to a year and a half later, depending on the figure. Like you still have to wait for it, but there's no stress. There's no, oh, am I gonna get this? It's, oh, it shows up and it shows up like for everyone at the same time versus it being like, well, this person just happened to be there when this one store in a tri-county area got the one version of it. It's all of us got it because we all pre-ordered it. There's no bullshit involved where there's like, oh, this person just happened to get lucky and I didn't. And that's
But
like,
would you want everything to be like that? Like,
yeah,
order it and wait a year?
Yeah, I'd much rather that. I would rather everyone get it at the same time than the stress of having to go to 6 Targets and waste a fucking tank of gas every week just to hunt down something that I'm not going to find.
Maybe not the year.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind most things aren't a
pay for
year. Like Moffx announces things in a year advance,
I'm saying like, everything's that way.
Like the Nendoroid kind of way, as how I'll be fine with something like that. The other issue that we're not talking about too with NECA is I don't know like who they're using to like ship these things. I don't know if God himself is carrying these packages to every home, but I don't understand how Santa Claus can deliver things for free shipping and NECA is charging like $25. In most cases, I'm exaggerating. I'm exaggerating. But when it's like a fourth of like what a product costs for the shipping, it adds frustration because it's like, oh, well, no big deal. I'll just order it. Oh, it's actually an extra $15 to ship this. Well, now I'm kind of paying like eBay prices to NECA is what's happening. And it just feels
absolutely. Let me put
annoying.
it in perspective. Like how often do you get like a meal delivery?
Never.
You don't even want to get me started on fucking meal deliveries. It's an outrage. Everything is so expensive.
It is an outrage. But I'm just saying, typically, a simple meal for 2 is a lot more expensive plus tip, and you're paying for a service. So that's where like the NECA shipping comes in. Again, I'm not trying to apologize, but you're taking
there's
the convenience
other people that
out
ship for less.
First off, okay, so
and they corrected themselves before.
There's other people that'll go get you, a Big Mac.
Listen
for
here.
cheaper too.
This is not. Like, this is a different situation because Jarmar not wanting to go pick up his own Big Mac is him being lazy. NECA making me have to order it from their website because they didn't supply the stores with enough.
Granted,
is a different scenario. There's no convenience factor.
About...
It's an inconvenience because I wasn't able to get it at the easier, cheaper option.
But, yes, you're correct. You are correct on that. But it's a lot easier if you think of it that way. If you just think of it as a service.
I get it. You're giving
but I'm not going to because I also have worked in the shipping industry. So I know that companies like that get a hefty discount when they do a lot of shipping and they ship through FedEx, who I know gives a hefty discount when you have an account. And I also know the fact that markup at retail for an action figure is usually about 40%, which means NECA is no way going to be like giving up that much of a profit margin without them making some money. So if they're making all of the money, they can fucking eat the $5 they pay in shipping and offer the same service that I would have gotten, or offer cheaper. Like if it was $7.98,
even free
I'm
shipping
not-
over a certain amount. Like that's the thing that bugs me.
Listen. I'm not gonna like try to argue because I don't know.
No, I know. We're just
But
putting our.
I think that inexpensive. Throw in
But
the towel.
here's an example. No, just even this is an example, and I'm going back to Good Smile again. They have a thing where if you have your account, when you pre-order something, you instantly get half off of shipping. So if you dedicate and say, "Yep, this is what I want," you pre-order it. You don't even pay until they ship it, but pre-ordering it is just simply going to guarantee half off shipping. So then when they actually ship it and say you buy it afterwards, now you pay more for the shipping than you would have if you originally pre-ordered it.
Mhm.
So like just them getting that dedication or that like commitment that you're going to buy it, they're rewarding you with like that 50% off of shipping. And that works on standard shipping or like the next day air shipping. If it was some kind of like system like that of like, hey, we're putting it up. All right, cool. Pre-order. You'll get half off on the shipping or you'll get some kind of cut. And then if you just casually buy it later, sure, whatever.
But
it's again, it's the point that you made, Michael. I would gladly just walk into the store and buy it, but I can't because of supply issues. So that's what I mean. Like giving me a balance or something. Let me win something is all
so here's the problem with your idea. And that is the fact that
it's not my idea. Good Smile does it. So
no,
it's
but with NECA, it's never,
and
and they never have stuff in stock on their website. It's always pre-order. So there'd be no alternative for them. With Good Smile, they'll eventually have that in stock and then can charge people full shipping. So there's no prerogative to get people to pre-order.
Sure.
You're just wanting cheaper shipping or free shipping. There's a difference.
Yes, that's all I want.
But what I'm saying, here's what I'm saying,
so I
though.
can be happy.
I actively collect a line where I order things from fucking Japan. For 2 to 5 days shipping of DHL, I pay $20 to get it from Japan. You're telling me NECA can't get it from they're in New York to fucking Ohio for less than $15?
Listen, dude, because
God's carrying it.
I was gonna say it's from a different country. I can order stuff from China and they'll send it, a $3 item for free shipping, and it comes in a box, this big. It's because they're shipping it. Like it's a little different.
I'm just saying. Well, it's DHL though. They're using an American
Right.
company.
Right, but again, what kind of agreement do they have?
But that's it. NECA. There's no way NECA as a business, unless they're poorly run, is not getting a discount through FedEx.
A country as Japan,
that's fair.
because all stuff from Asian countries for the most part come DHL. Anything I've ordered from Japan comes DHL. Anything from Korea comes DHL. So.
Well, Ami gives you different options where you can do cheaper, slower options too. It's just DHL's the fastest, and I'm an impatient child with a YouTube channel, so I always pay the extra for that.
See, but that's your. I guess it's because it's your choice. That's
you have the choice.
Yeah, it's a choice. Yeah, we don't. There's a difference. I have a choice where I can get it faster. But I don't think anyone. I don't know anyone who's ordered from Ami and chooses the cheaper options. To be honest, but I'm still paying less than what I would retail.
Jarmar did, and he got a flattened. So
no, that was
AliExpress.
Huge difference. But no.
Again.
So like,
pancake Ronin.
I still pay less than I would if I ordered it from Big Bad Toy Store before shipping, because I usually pay about $90 for OnlyFigs figures, where Big Bad Toy Store they're $105. So. Right. Like I'm still paying $15 less and paying for the more expensive shipping.
So really, this whole episode comes down to you would be less frustrated if shipping was free.
I'd be less frustrated if they just pick a lane, and that's Jarmar's thing.
It's death by 1,000 cuts.
I would be more content if it was either A, readily available, or B, just you order it and everyone gets it at the same time instead of the stressful fucking drive over bullshit. The other thing, though, I do want to touch on before we inevitably close out here in a few minutes is companies making poor choices when they're releasing figures. And this one comes back to Hasbro because they ruin everything. Yes. So behind me is this wonderful wall of retro figures that they started doing the animated series like figures in. Like we have a cell shaded Spider-Man, and we have the animated series Venom, and that's the only release of that Venom, mind you. And then today, they decided to announce that they're finally going to do a animated series Doc Ock. And he's going to be put in a fucking 2-pack of Aunt May in a shitty-ass VHS line instead of being on a retro card, which means we probably won't get that Doc Ock on retro card. If we do get Doc Ock, it'll be a comic book version, and it probably still won't come for another year or two. And the fact that even if I looked past that and still just wanted the figure because it's cool and they finally gave him good tentacles that were bendy, I have to buy a Aunt May figure? Go fuck yourself.
All right. First of all,
You know what?
the Aunt May part I can agree with, but all of those X-Men animated figures come in them shitty boxes too. I don't know where you think just because Spider-Man you're special.
Because
All of
Spider-Man,
those-
I had a year of fucking Spider-Man where it was nothing like that. Like, nothing but that. And even then, the X-Men line, like, we still got some X-Men retro carded figures that were good figures.
You got some X-Men retro carded figures. You didn't get X-Men animated figures. X-Men animated figures come in
But
those
they were at
boxes.
least the Jin Lee like style. And even then, we do
Okay.
have animated Spider-Man figures. So there was already, like, a set
Two.
representation.
One was two. One is an SDCC exclusive, and one is a Walmart exclusive.
Okay. This
Okay.
one's a Hasbro
But
Pulse
that's not-
exclusive.
Right. So, because they're in those little shitty boxes. All the animated figures except those two, which are two extreme examples, have been in those boxes. They even announced at the beginning of the year, we are starting a Spider-Man series in these shitty VHS boxes.
Damn.
I remember-
So you can't be that mad.
I can't be that mad. I
mad.
can. I can be
But
very
not within
mad.
reason. You can be mad, but that would be like me being mad that, they didn't make Turtles 3 figures yet. I can be mad about it, but what good is it going to do? None of that was ever promised to me. You got a little tease with, again, a very hard to get SDC exclusive or whatever exclusive it was. I just know
It was
somebody really,
SDCC.
really awesome got it for you
Yes,
and made
it
sure
did.
that you got it. So shut the
Even
fuck
was
up.
like,
if he has a little mean
uh,
on me on my own podcast, but yeah.
Yeah, and it's all from a place of love. Because you represent the internet to me. Sorry.
Ouch.
That's the truth, right
That's
there.
the most savage fucking thing you said yet. Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
So I got to be the other guy. But I'm just trying to I'm not really trying to, do it, but I am trying to
Yeah.
bring a dose of reality just because you were never promised anything.
Oh yeah, I never
You
said
got
I
two
was.
special items. Again, so the anger is coming from you. It's your
But
fault.
my argument about that was because you said that the X-Men line wasn't animated and the VHS one was, and I was saying that, oh no, we already have animated figures in the retro line, so therefore now you've got these two different lines and two different box styles, versus they should have just not released those in the retro wave then, and saved them for, because they plan this shit
But
fucking
that's
more
why
than year
they
advance.
that's why they made them as exclusives.
Yeah,
That's
I can't agree with that. Means you wouldn't have those two on card.
That's fine. If they
You'd
would
rather
have,
not have those
I would rather
two
have
than
not
have
those
Doc Ock?
two. Well, one Doc Ock's my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh,
So
Um,
give me the Venom back.
But then you wouldn't have
No.
you wouldn't have
I'll
Doc
let it
Ock,
on
or I
eBay.
mean, you wouldn't have Spider-Man. Well, 'cause
that's fine.
having
They had a normal
Doc
Spider-Man,
Ock.
and they could have done normal Venom. But I'm saying, why
Okay.
do animated versions of them
Yeah.
if you were going to do this other line? So it's like, what's the
Yes.
point? Does that mean Venom's not going to be released in this VHS wave? And anyone who didn't get the original one is fucked, and then has incomplete collection?
No, you know what's going to happen. They're going to
It's
release
gonna-
a whole new one, and it's going to be way better.
In the
Because it's not going to
VHS.
have those plug-in holes that
Yeah.
that one had. Yeah, they'll have those all filled in and taken care of. So just salt in the wound.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't matter because mine's still in the box. So
Right.
I forgot it had the holes. I do not mention it. But yeah, I'm just like, I'm already mad about the fact that we still don't have a retro wave Doc Ock, and with the way they do things, we don't release the same character so many times, even though we get 30 Spider-Man a year.
But you bought most of those.
No, I didn't.
And sold.
I've bought the cell shaded Spidey and the symbiote Spidey. from Marvel
Maybe I'm
Legends.
just all Spider-Man look the same to me. But I feel like you showed off at least like 4
Yeah,
or
because
5 different.
like I've gotten 2 from Mofex, actually 3 from Mofex
no,
last
no,
year.
no, like on a retro card.
No, the only retro card
Well,
Spider-Man
you're
I have
thinking
are
Maybe the villains.
yeah, I've shown us
Yeah,
the
maybe
villains.
it's villains.
But I've
Yeah,
I've only have
maybe
two
that's
Spider-Man from
maybe
the
that's
retro
what
wave.
it is. Maybe that's what it is.
But yeah, anyway, back to the fucking 2-pack thing. The fact that now I have to probably spend $80 to have a fucking Aunt May figure. Fucking bullshit.
I mean, you could definitely sell the Aunt May figure. There's
No,
going to
you
be people who want.
There's no one who's going to
There's
want
going to
just
there's
Aunt
going to
May.
there's going to be.
There's no one who's going to want just Aunt May and not Doc Ock. Especially because those tentacles they said are compatible with the old Doc Ock. So people are going to buy that just for that purpose.
Was there an ever uncle?
An Uncle Ben? No.
Yeah, was there an Uncle
This
Ben
is the
figure?
first. This is the first Aunt May.
Okay, so
Probably since the famous covers.
hold on to that
mail
Aunt May.
away from like the late 90s.
Okay,
Just hang on to it, because when inevitably they do an Uncle Ben, people are going to be thirsting for that Aunt May.
Listen, I already have an Uncle Ben. There's an urn in the accessories bin over there that I can fucking have her hold.
No, I'm saying so you can resell. You'll be able to get your money back.
But
These
they're
people
not
are
gonna
gonna-
make they're not gonna make an Uncle Ben figure because he was out. He was
I don't
in
know.
in the show briefly. I think there was an episode where like Pete
He's in
hallucinates him.
everything briefly.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean? Briefly, he was in one episode. Yeah, that's how it goes.
No, but like they
you know
didn't
what
do
Uncle
they didn't
Ben-
show him die like they do in the movies. I'm saying that there was an episode where like Pete like hallucinates him or some shit and like has a conversation with
okay.
him. Like and they like do this whole like ordeal, not that he was fucking murdered in the cartoon. Christ.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, so I'm angry about that too, which also is kind of disheartening because it's like, well, now if I want this Doc Ock, I have to probably spend $80 for a 2-pack I don't want, and it's not going to be on the fucking retro card, which will even anger me even more. So,
You know what you should, what you need a solution, and maybe you can create this. I'm sure there's people handy out there that could like make retro cards for figures, like pre-existing figures,
can't do it.
and that would be a dope thing.
I can't do it. It
You,
wouldn't
like,
be efficient.
Oh, I know you
you-
can't.
oh, yeah,
I'm just saying if someone could.
No, I'm saying
Like
I
an
wouldn't
Etsy
be able
thing.
to accept that into my collection because it wouldn't be legit.
Sure.
What?
I get it.
I can't.
If
I
it
can't
was
do
like an
No, I get
exact
it.
replica of it,
I get it. Like,
what?
no.
I get like
it.
the retro or the vintage line of Star Wars because that makes sense. But I don't. I think
It's
with
the
the
same
retro,
fucking thing. Except for mine's
I
bigger.
look at that different.
he has
I
more.
look at that different.
How is it different? They're figures on retro cards.
Because some of these that he has actually came out in like fucking 20 years ago, 10 years ago.
Literally, this line
How
is
long
based off the fucking
longer
toys
than
when we were
20
kids.
Yes, but it's a reimagining. It would be like if someone made a
Those
custom
figures didn't
turtle
come out
thing.
like that 30 years ago. They came out like fucking this. They didn't have bendable arms and knees and elbows or fucking abdomens.
I don't know. I excuse the Star Wars just because there's more of them. Maybe that's my. I can't empathize with you on that one. That's all I'm saying. It'd be really cool. That's all I was saying.
No, I'm definitely with Michael on this one. I can't do unofficial things like that.
Yeah, no.
Well, then
It's like if
those
somebody
fucking
makes me a
VHSs
gift,
up on the wall.
like, if people have made me gifts of custom figures, and I think they're amazing, they're awesome, I love them, but they're not part of the.
Mhm.
Yeah, the figure, I get it. But if you bought that animated figure and had like a cool retro animated box, then it'd be cool. I mean, all your dioramas are custom, so
Yeah, but
I wanna
that's
hear this,
different.
sir.
That's for photos. That's
and you were
not
gonna
part of
buy
the
a
collection.
knockoff turtle wagon,
That thing was fucking cool though.
but it's not official.
But it's also not. I don't have like a turtle line that I collect everything from.
Sure.
That line I specifically collect because of what it is. I don't collect like a specific line of turtles. I have turtles from several lines, and there's a lot of turtles that I got rid of because I was done with those
I was gonna
lines.
say, do you? But sure, I
I mean, I don't think I have a
get
complete team at this point now. I'm pretty sure I have Donnie from several lines, and then I have The Last Ronin, and now I'm waiting for those new Mirage turtles to be my official turtles. And fucking Best Action with their IDW line, which is terrifying because I want to like it, but I'm afraid it's going to be dog shit, so I don't know.
I thought those motorcycle ones were kind of cool.
They look cool.
Yeah, they look cool.
But they don't have a good track record.
They don't,
What
but
the
they're
fuck
learning.
do they have motorcycles for? This is
Because
not
they
the podcast
probably
for that.
have the
I don't
comics.
care. That is fucking stupid. Just
Well,
jack
anyway,
up the price.
we need to close it out. So as always, let us know in the comments below. Are you burnout? Have you been burnout? Why?
And why?
I was getting there.
Yes.
Why are you
Well,
burnout?
I want to make sure.
Is it because
I didn't get to talk that much this episode.
I'm back, baby. 2 weeks ago. I only missed 1 week.
You only missed 1 week, bud. 2 weeks.
I'm
You only missed
You've
1
been
week,
back,
but
technically.
You were here last week.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so confused.
So we released them out of order. So you were here last week's episode. Anyway, yeah. So let us know in the comments below if you're burnout, if you've been burnout in the past, why? Was it companies? Was it too many toys? Was it money? Was it just the crippling depression of existence? Let us know. And as always, if you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like and subscribe. Helps us out in the channel. It also gets you a bunch of toilet content in your feed. We've got reviews on Mondays, Let's Pose on Tuesdays, live streams on Wednesdays, and podcasts on Fridays. Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok at Modern Toy Fair. If you'd like to support us in this crazy venture, you can head over to patreon.com/Modern Toy Fair. We have several tiers there. You can earn anything from being able to make suggestions for the fake podcast each week for Nate to end the show with, to getting physical prints of the photos I take for the reviews, or even joining us on the weekly live stream at the end of the month. But again, if you can't or don't want to, we still appreciate it. Continue watching and supporting. Maybe give us a share, show a friend, help us grow that way as well. I'd appreciate it. You can also go to tpublic.com/Modern Toy Fair and get all the wonderful shirts that we've shown off throughout the time. Anything from our logo on it to the Show Me Your Nips shirt and a few others I've thrown up on there too.
I need to get a new Show Me Your Nips shirt.
You've
like
worn your
mine
nips out?
is like, I've worn it out. I've worn those nips just dull.
But you can check Jarmar out over on metal.tv/Jarmar Games. Nate, what you got for us this week?
Well, we got a new podcast, and this comes from patron Sukma Tant. And I understand that that's a pun on Suck My Taint, but still. Anyway, this new show, this is called Sexy Men. And this is just a video podcast of Jarmar scrolling through pictures of sexy men and the occasional mouth noise. It's a good time.
When do I start? I mean, I've already been researching this podcast for
like how
hours.
Like on a scale of 1 to 10, and granted, this is going to be slightly outdated by the time this is on there, but okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how excited were you for Creed 3?
Oh God, it has all the things I really look for in a movie. Michael B. Jordan, abs.
Yeah.
Jonathan Major,
yeah,
abs, and I also really like Tessa Thompson.
Yeah, there's nothing about any of that sounds unappealing in any way. Like, I am into all of it. Like,
I'm assuming it's good, and this is the future, so I really enjoyed the anime fight styles. I don't know. That's what he said. That was something new in boxing that he was doing. Is it's gonna have like anime style fight scenes. Don't know what that means. I'm assuming they flew.
Interesting.
That'd be amazing.
Right, so check Jarmar out over on the Patreon only podcast, Sexy Men.
Sexy Men.
Hopefully we see you next week. Same toy time, same Toy Fair channel. Thank you for watching.
Did you guys not see that though?